Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back. I am so excited for this video. I can't even begin to tell you about it. Today I'm going to be doing a first impressions for October's black owned indie brand, even though I'm pretty sure, I don't know if this is indie or not, but I actually don't care. And it's gonna be Pat McGrath. I bought her Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette. So this is the one, she came out with this I think in September, and it took me about a month before I decided to pick it up. I know if you watched my brands that I don't check for video, then you know that Pat McGrath was included in that. And so I'm eating my words a little bit, but I think the main essence of what I was saying was that her products are just so out of my budget that I just don't really look at her launches because I'm like I have so much FOMO. But when it was announced that this palette was going to be released, I actually thought that it was a typo because it's 78 USD, and I was like, I might have to pick that up so I can try out her formula. And when I saw the color story, I honestly was sold. This, I know not everyone loves it, but to me, this is perfect. I love pinks and purples. It's my favorite colors to wear my eyes. I also especially love them with greens. There's a red in this corner here. It's just like, honestly, she couldn't have chosen a better color story to draw me in. I think I was specifically the demographic that she was trying to get with this release. I know not everyone was super happy with this being the price that it was. I don't personally feel like this palette feels cheap at all. I think it actually feels quite nice, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. I just cannot wait. I haven't even swatched this, so I thought, why not let's swatch this. Maybe I'll zoom you out a little bit so we can see my arm in action. So I'm going to go from left to right when you look at the palette. I'm not going to lift it up each time because it's kind of big and I don't want to break these little ribbons that are on the sides, but I haven't even, I'm kind of beside myself a little bit. So the first shade is the shade Saturnalia, and this is basically, please excuse the bronzer that's on my arm, but it's a bright, like, red, basically. It's a metallic red. Excuse me also if I say that every shade is beautiful or stunning. Just give me a little bit of a break here. The next shade is Bronze Nebula, which is a bronze. Then we have Major Mahogany. This is a matte, and it's, I think, the deepest shade in the palette. It's basically a deep red toned brown matte shade. Then we have the shade Lunar Champagne, which is a champagne shade. This feels a little bit more sheer than the other shades. It's more a little more sparkly, almost topperish. Then we have the shade Violet Void, which is a metallic sparkly purple. You can tell that this definitely has a black base to it. And then we have the shade Gold Standard, which is a bright gold shade, very yellow gold. Then we have another matte shade. This is Venomous Void. This feels a lot smoother than the other matte that I swatched. This is a plum, a matte plum. Definitely looks very true to pigment in terms of what it looks like in the pan, just in swatching anyway. Then we have the shade Odyssey. This is a, that's so pretty. It's almost like a duochrome, like purple to green. Looks like there's a little bit of green in there. That's really beautiful. Then we have the shade Fuchsia Shock, which is a bright metallic fuchsia shade. That is absolutely Oh, that's so nice. I think I'm going to use this on my eyes today. Then we have the shade Megabyte, which is a olive toned metallic green. Also, these are my shade interpretations. These are not the shade descriptions that she has. Then we have the shade Bronze, which almost looks a bit more copper than bronze, but sure. Then we have the shade Electron, which is a pink with a red flip to it. Okay, now to do the last one, I'm gonna I'm gonna hop over to my other arm. Swatches aren't gonna be as good with my left hand, but that's okay. Then we have the shade Cosmic. And this, it very much feels like a sheer topper shade, a little bit different compared to the other metallics. It's a pink with a gold base to it. It's really pretty. Definitely feels flaky though. Then we have the shade Smoked Amethyst, which looks like a blackened purple. Yeah, it almost looks like a matte with glitter in it, which I know I've been watching other people's videos and they've been saying that as well, but it does look like it almost has a matte base. This shade is one of my most anticipated shades. This is the shade Dragonfly. It's a very like blue-brown pigment almost, where it has like a red toned brown base with a green flip to it, but there's something about these shades that I just can never get enough of. It looks so beautiful. Hopefully I'm not too far away from the camera. Probably am, knowing me. Then we have the third matte. There's only 3 mattes in this palette. This is the shade Venusian Orchid. It's like a dusky rose. Really pretty though. I feel like there is a good range of depths. Like I feel like even though there are 3 mattes, they're the right tones of mattes for this palette and the right variation in depth. And then we have the shade Galactic Gold. Again, it feels a little bit more sheer, a little bit more sparkly. It's just like a light gold shade. Almost looks like it has a slight green undertone to it. And then last but not least, we have the shade Corruption, which looks like, I think this looks like a duochrome as well. Looks like a bronze brown shade with a red flip. Oh, overall, I think these these shades to me are so beautiful. Like honestly, I cannot emphasize enough how much I love this color story, how much I love the shade selection in here. I think they're all so beautiful. I cannot wait to dive into this palette. So let's just zoom in and we will do an eye look. I have these swatches all over my arm still, and I'm going to really try very hard to not get them all over my shirt. So I think for this video, I'm going to use all of the mattes just to see what they are like. I'm going to start out with the shade Venusian Orchid. And I'm just going to put that in my crease as a transition shade or like a base shade just to start out with, because I feel like, or from what I've known or heard anyway, that these shades are like pretty pigmented and very buildable. But I don't want to pull in anything else. I just want to use this palette today. And I want to use as many shades as I can, so we're just going to use this. And I, as always, set my lids, and I primed my lids with the NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. I just love this shade. I think it's so beautiful. I love dusty pinks like this, and I feel like I can never have too many of them. I honestly can't even emphasize enough to you how much this color story was like truly made for me. I have not a single, just upon even like first watching, not a single ounce of regret in purchasing this palette. So far this shade is blending out very well. Okay, so that's laid down in the crease now. So now I'm going to take the shade Venomous Void. It's that matte purpley plum shade. And you can probably guess it, I'm going to put that in my outer crease and my outer corner and my crease as well. I'm just taking a very light tap because I feel like this shade is going to be pretty pigmented and I don't want to like go in with too much pigment at once. This is such a beautiful shade. I can't even deal with it. And I think if you, well, obviously if you didn't set your like lids, this would be very impactful because I can tell that these shades have a ton of pigment, and if you really wanted to fucking like go in and layer them and like really pack them on, you could. But I want to be able to control the depth just because I'm not super familiar, well, I'm not familiar with this shadow formula, and personally I like to really be able to control how much pigment I go in with. But this is me having a really light hand and taking my time and like blending and building up. But if you just wanted to go in right away, you could get super impactful payoff for sure. That being said, they are blending really easily. And with very little effort. And also, I mean, it's important to note too, shitty brushes. Like, I do not have the most extensive brush collection. So, okay, so that's all blended in my crease. I also turned the brightness up because I felt like it was a little bit dark. But now I'm just going to take a totally clean brush and blend this out. Like, here's the thing. I had high expectations because it's fucking Pat McGrath. They're being met so far. Like, I'm more than happy with this. The only thing is I wish that maybe there was a little bit of a deeper shade. I'm gonna go into the shade Major Mahogany. It's the like brown matte. I don't know if you can see that, but it's this shade right here. And I'm going to see if that will deepen things up a little bit. It seems like it's the deepest shade in the palette. Well, we're just experimenting today, so we're just gonna try it out. But I feel like the Smoked Amethyst shade, this deep purple, you could probably blend into your crease or outer corner and use that as a deepening matte shade. If I had to guess, I think you probably could do that. And I think I'm going to do a 3 looks 1 palette video with this palette, so I'm going to try to get that up as soon as I can. These mattes seem very like true to pan in terms of their color payoff, and they are definitely buildable. People rave about Pat McGrath's matte shades, so I hoped and prayed that they would perform as they're performing now. I have little to no complaints thus far. And I mean, I think at this point you guys know me. I'm not going to be a hater just to be a hater. Like, I'm not going to hate something just because, I don't know, just because. I actually want to enjoy the makeup that I buy, especially, I mean, this palette wasn't cheap. But I feel like no one really, I haven't really seen negative reviews of Pat McGrath. Maybe I'm just looking like watching people only that love her, but I feel like the worst anyone has ever said is like it's not worth the money, which is all, I mean, relative to the individual. But I feel like no one has really said negative things about her quality. Am I becoming a Pat McGrath stan? Because that could be a serious problem for me. Of all the times for my camera to cut out on me, I think it's super fucking rude that it was my Pat McGrath video, but it's fine. You actually didn't miss that much. I just put the Major Mahogany shade in my crease to deepen things up. I also was not really saying anything of importance. I was just saying that I thought these shadows have blended super well. They basically blend themselves. As you can see, I cut my crease. Surprise, surprise. And now I'm going to go over the edges with the Venomous Void shade. And also put some of that on my lid where the concealer is to blend it all together. Also, this is going to be really random, but if you're Canadian and you know how I can watch Ghost Adventures, please let me know, because I want to watch it so bad. I used to watch it. It used to be on Canadian Netflix, and I haven't been able to find anywhere that I can watch it in Canada, and I just want to watch it super bad. So let a hoe know. Please, 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 please. And now I'm just taking the shade Major Mahogany. I am putting that, basically doing the same thing I did with Venomous Void, deepening up the crease in the outer corner. I'm going to take the shade. I mean, I think I had to. This is the shade Fuchsia Shock, if you can see that. I don't know if you can. It's the bright fuchsia shade. I'm going to take that on my lid, in the middle of my lid. I'm going to spray this because I always spray my metallic shadows, and I just want to remain consistent with that. I don't think I have a shade that's quite like this. I have like some brighter pinks, but I don't think I have a true metallic fuchsia shade. Okay, and I'm going to take the same brush. I've wiped it off, don't you worry. And now I'm going to take this shade. Oh, I'm so scared of breaking the ribbons. If you can see it, I think you can. The shade Electron, right? Yeah, it is the shade Electron. And I'm going to put that on my the inner part of my lid. Spray that again. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Fuck me up with these shimmer shades. Are you joking me? That has a much more intense blue shift to it when you actually put it on your eyes compared to when you swatch it. And then I'm just going to take the shade Fuchsia Shock, whatever the fuchsia shade is called, and I'm going to take a little bit on the other side of the brush, just blend them together. I'm going to take the shade Fuchsia Shock on my finger, intensify that on my lid. Something tells me that these shades are going to be best applied with your finger as opposed to a brush. And I'm going to do the same thing with Electron. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to take the shade Venusian Orchid and go over the edges of the shadow one more time just to make sure everything is nice and blended. Now we're quickly going to zip through the lower lash line. I'm going to take the shade Venomous Void all along my lower lash line and blend it out. Now I'm going to take the shade Major Mahogany and put that all along my lower lash line closer to my lashes, and then I'm going to blend that out with a pencil brush. And then I'm going to take Venusian Orchid and blend that all along the edges of the shadow on my lower lash line. Okay, so actually I cannot resist. I'm going to take another shade, just put that right on the inside of my lower lash line. I think I'm actually going to take the shade Violet Void. It's that deep purple shade. I'm going to take that on my little brush. I'm going to spray that, and I'm going to, I want to keep the purpleness, pinky purpleness going, so I'm going to use this right on my lower lash line. Ugh. You joking me? It's definitely a deeper shade. Obviously it has like a black base, but it's, despite that, it's still very vibrant, very purple, and you can see the purple glitters in it. So beautiful. There's not really a shade that in this palette that suits my skin tone for an inner corner highlight shade. Totally fine. I'm just going to use my face highlighter because This look is so dark. I do want to have a brighter inner corner highlight, or one that's not dark anyway. That's not like a super strong color. So I'm just going to use my face highlighter. I'm using the Natasha Denona Super Glow in Fair. And I'm also going to put a little bit of that on my brow bone. Alright, you guys, I'm so beyond happy. I'm quickly going to pop off camera, liner, lashes, lips, and then I'm going to be back, give you my thoughts. Hint, they are positive, and conclude this video. Okay, and we are done. So I just put a plum liner in my waterline. This is ColourPop Best O. And then I actually put a little bit of black in my outer corner as well. I actually have the Pat McGrath single shadow in the shade Dark Matter. It's a thing. It was on sale. I bought it from Sephora. I've been looking for a single black shadow for a long time. And so I bought this one because the MAC one is $20. So I was like, I might as well have a Pat McGrath single shadow. I don't think this is amazing, but I think it's fine. It's a black matte shadow. Anyway, and I have Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fussy on my lips. So, my thoughts and feelings about this palette. I love it. I had the best experience using this. I think it's super fucking good. I'm like, I haven't been this excited about a palette in so long. And I know when I'm excited about a palette because I want to use it all day, every day, but I also don't want to use it. I don't want to touch it because I don't want it to get panned. I don't want to hit pan. I don't even want to like use up any of these shadows. They're so beautiful. The mattes are very easy to blend. They're really pigmented, but the pigment is, I feel, controllable. I wonder how it would go if you had a tacky base. That's not my preferred eyeshadow application method. I like to have a set base. I like to not have a really intense, crazy pigment right at the gate. I like to be able a little bit more in control. Personal preference. I wonder if these might stick down a little bit if you had a tacky base. I don't know, but I thought they're really good. Even though there are only 3 matte shades in this palette, I feel like they're the right matte shades. They're the right tones that go with the metallic shades. There's a good range of depths, but nothing that's too light. So I don't think that there's going to be any like unnecessary beiges that may look really ashy or anything on deeper skin tones. I just think they're beautiful. The metallic shades that I use are so pretty. They're really dimensional, shimmery, but not, and they're not really so metallic and so dense that they're gonna make your eyelids look textured. I personally have textured eyelids, and that happens a lot with really bright metallic shades. It's like fine, it is what it is, because I do like to have a lot of shine on my eyelids, but I feel like this is one step up, and I don't think it really emphasizes too much texture. At the end of the day, I really love this. It's Pat McGrath. You're paying for the experience, you're paying for the name. Ultimately, she's a luxury makeup brand. I don't think I wasted my money. There's not an ounce of regret in me for buying this. This is it's like 100 Canadian dollars. I got a discount on her website, so I paid like 90. I don't think that that's too bad for this, particularly when you look at the brand. And if you think about it, like the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, which I own, is $88. And I don't think it even comes close to this quality. Do I think if you buy this, you're gonna be like, this is amazing, this is like nothing else I've ever experienced, this is worth, $200 or whatever. Not that this is one of her like 10-pound mothership palettes, but you get what I'm saying. If you don't think that eyeshadow is ever gonna be worth that much money, it's not gonna be worth it to you. But I think if you wanted to try out her formula, you like this color story, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I actually think you'll be very happy. I think it's just beautiful. I know I'm going to break these ribbons. I just know it, me and my clumsy ass. But I just had such a great experience using this. I just think it's really, really nice. I don't think it's like so unique that it's never been done before. This is like the most crazy innovative eyeshadow formula. No, but do I think it's really nice? Yeah, I do. Like I said, I'm gonna try to have this video up as quickly as I can, and then I also really want to do a 3 looks 1 palette video using this, so I'm gonna like get right on that. Let me know if you guys like this palette. Do you want to get it? Are you interested in picking it up? To me, this is like, I knew I had to as soon as I saw it, based on like the color story, that it was a little bit less expensive. I was like, I have to do it. And I'm so happy I did. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna end it here before I talk any longer, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Today, so I'm going to start out with the shade, oh god, I cannot see anything. I hope this is basically the exact same color as my shirt. So funny how that worked out. It's almost like I picked it. I mean, that's a pretty fucking nice blend.